dog. Zukov, where are you going? Hey. Zukov. Aw. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. Cute little poop. I cannot see your screen that much, so let's get back inside. Come on, boo boo. Come on. Bubby. Okay, there we go. Write a story and make character based off of me? Oh boy. I feel I can go one of a few ways. Boop, 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 boop. It's actually not even that super hot out. So, hold on. Stop that right there real quick. Oh. There we go. Little popo. Soft little head. Yep. Barely overshot that. Old cans from last night. There we go. Boom. Now what else? Okay, Please like respect to Quantum. So I've been saying that for a while. You're not exactly telling me anything new. In fact, there actually hasn't ever really been much new from that anyway, so like what else is there to say about it up until just like leading up to the actual election day, pretty much, unless something changes. So I doubt really anything's going to be changing that much from here on out. Fucking. There we go. Ugh. Fucking nose, dude. Ugh. Yeah, pull some pull up. What to play here? Find this little background music then, little Tokaronis. Oh, this work. There we go. Now to get this bow loaded. There we go. Fucking hell. Ugh. Come on. Oof, that's way better. Alright, well, let's see what's happening for today. Phones waste so much money on Binance. They didn't really waste money. They just like kind of, invested in ways they didn't think would actually pan out. So now they're having to reinvest their money and kind of cut the losses. I mean, when it comes to these campaigns and shit, they don't really exactly lose money. They usually just end up printing it. What? What is with that face of yours, bro? Well, food? Is that what it was? Is that what you need? That's a. There you go. I got food. Yep, it was. Yeah, it was food. Goofy ass little doggo. Goofy little mutt. What do I do with my tea? I have my tea in here. I'm gonna find my tea. Dog, you're kind of. You're significantly in my way. There we go. Now I got my tea. Doggo, look at you. You ridiculous little thing. This doggo's just ridiculous. He just really likes to be very incessant with his moves and barks. Which honestly, I'm just like, I prefer him smacking the bowl endlessly in comparison. It's just like, come on. I prefer that doggo. I don't know why he decided to just be like, nah, I'm going to start boofing at you instead. Going vacuum cleaner mode on that shit. Jeez. Let's see what's happening for today. Damn, Kyle uploaded a lot of stuff today. Let's see what Kyle's up to. Yeah, what's he up to? What was his little things for today? I always like to at least check out one or two of his little vids. Cornell West goes to war Jill Stein. For fucking what? That's just stupid. Especially considering that, like, when it comes to, like, a third party vote, it'd probably be, like, between those two. You know, and it's, like, now, like, they're wanting to, like, try to, like, eat, like go at each other's throats or whatever. Or at least Cornell is. It's like, come on, dude. I mean, he's definitely, like, a really good eloquent speaker and shit, but, like, man, he doesn't really exactly got good political instinct. He went from, like, the Green Party to, like, the People's Party to being independent, just flipping around, flip-flopping like a fish everywhere. It's just one of those things where it just doesn't really, like, it just doesn't show good political instinct, honestly. I mean, I like Cornell, but, dude, like, goddamn, bro. Like, it's, every time I ever hear something about him when it comes to, like, political decision-making, it's always not exactly really good. It's, like, he could say the right shit and advocate the right stuff, but it seems like he just never is able to, like, really execute it properly. Oh. Yeah. A little bit of cold, that bowl just, like, laying on my pants. That's a nice tiny little hole. That's great. It's tiny. Whatever. Get rid of that bullshit. Ugh. It was AF. There we go. Ugh. Man, my body's all away, but my brain's still needing to wake up. What the fuck? I probably should have grabbed a coffee first, but... Hunting down some flies there, bud? Also, there hasn't even really been that many in here anymore, so that's at least good. Still see one or two, but luckily, I mean, it's nowhere near as bad as it was. In fact, honestly, that little absurd, insane colony that used to be up there isn't there anymore. In fact, there's only like 3 of them over there, so I think finally the era of the war of the flies finally ended. Which, yay. Thank God, because that was driving me nuts. If these little fuckers just buzzing around everywhere. I mean, honestly, at least they're not mosquitoes or some shit. That'd be way worse. Dude, how hungry are you, dog? Jeez. Goofy dog. Oh shit. Didn't even notice this in hotel update. Damn. So Ripsey's friend Roski apologized and blamed the Devil's Liquor for that absurd fight they had the other day. Damn. Well, at least he owned up to it. But still, that's just like, I mean, the fact that dude, like, even with liquid courage, decided to be like, yeah, that's justifiable. I mean, I would still have some strong suspicions about that. It's like, yeah, apologize for being a dick about it, but it's like, does that mean that you, like, think it's bullshit? It shouldn't be a thing? Like, I mean, it just makes me think and wonder, like, there's obviously, like, some sort of, like, deep-rooted underpinning belief that there is at least, you know, a certain metric where just, like, can be justifiable in that person's head. And I would just be like, oh, fuck that. Like, hell no. Kind of, you know, like, for me, it's just like, that is almost kind of like a strike one, you're out kind of thing. just because, like, I mean, the whole, like, premise of just, like, the idea of, like, oh, well, it's just so justifiable, and having an open question about that, like, that in itself should be, like, a red flag. It's like, what the fuck, dude? But guess decided to, like, change his mind about it, but still. I don't know if that means, you know, the position has actually been changed. Especially since my friend Rip didn't even say whether or not, like, there was a walk back from the take or whether it's just apologize for blowing up at him. Either way, it's still a shitty take. But, you know, speaking of shitty takes, what shitty thing is fucking Cornell been doing? Like, what was his ass been up to? Is this thing fucking Jordan? I want to make sure this thing's actually plugged in. You plugged in? Have your ass plugged in. Oh, there we go. That would explain it. Yeah, the fucking power cord is off. Cool. Sweet, there we go. Now, what the hell's going on here? What are you doing, Cornell? What are you doing?
Hey, guys, so we got some trouble in paradise. Friend of the show, Jordan Chariton. He's also a great journalist, by the way. Everybody go check him out over on Status Coup. And also, I think he's got a book coming out on the Flint water crisis. He's been covering that more than anybody. And give him a lot of credit for taking a real serious issue and doing a deep dive when, you know, corporate media just abandoned this a long, long time ago, even though people still don't have clean water. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, So Jordan Chariton interviewed Jill Stein and interviewed Cornel West. And I mean, this really kind of makes me sad because Cornel kind of went to war with Jill a little bit here. And this is not a time for that, you know? Now, I'm sure Cornel would swear up and down, actually, Jill went to war with me. I didn't go to war with her. You know how these things get. You know, personal beefs can be ugly, and everybody's got rationalizations for their actions and accusations against the other side. But so first I'll play for you. Jill Stein went on a George Sheridan show first. I'll play for you her comments about Cornel West, and then we'll get to Cornel's reaction. But Jill Stein's point is basically like, look, if we want to be serious about accruing power, we want to be serious about having a chance, we want to be serious about getting to that 5% number so we get matching funds and we're treated more seriously. We want to be serious about growing a left-wing movement. We need to unify, right? We need to unify. We can't have...
I mean, I've always been like a major advocate for this. I mean, this is why honestly I lean more pro Stein than not, because she at least does understand these things. And also, like, you know, despite like her, you know, some of her like, you know, flaws and stuff, like when it comes to like being pro labor, you know, like very critical of war and being very anti-war, you know, very pro climate change and shit. Like, I mean, and also went to jail for justice too when it came to the pro Palestinian protests. I mean, that enough alone is already like, all right, yeah, it's obviously way significantly better in line when it comes to my positions on things.
If we had like 7 different left-wing candidates running, well, you're going to split the vote 7 different ways. By the same token, if you have 2 different left-wing candidates running, you're going to split the left-wing vote, 2 ways. It's better to be unified to give ourselves a chance at getting better numbers. Okay, that's her point. I'll let her make it, and then I'll show you Cornel's response. Remember, Cornel launched with the People's Party, realized that was a mistake, then went with the Green Party, then left there and became an independent. Okay, here we go.
If you had a conversation,
which, like I said, I feel like that doesn't really, you know, strike me as really good political, you know, like intuition, honestly. Like, it's just stick with one. You know, it's like, you know, stick with the People's Party, maybe grow that, and then like try to like unify with other parties or something. Like, you know, the Green Party or some shit. Like, I mean, there's just way better ways to have dealt with that.
With him, do you think he should drop out so that the third party left could be unified and you are on more ballots objectively?
So let me say, I don't believe in telling people they can't run. So okay. I would not say that. Okay. What I would say is, would you please think strategically here and take a look at France and how we actually beat back the fascist threat? I think it's really important to look at that. I would love, personally...
She says that because the left got together in France.
Which also overwhelmingly won in France, too, because of that, by the way. Because they got together instead of having, like, you know, 10 or 4 or whatever, however many different, like, parties and different little, like, groups running, you know, pretty much for the most part, basically either against each other or, you know, side by side, you know, competing, you know, with each other. And it's just like, you know, why, you know, do that when we could, you know, like, coalesce, you know, consolidate power and unify all that, you know, effort and influence and momentum, you know, into one big force like that. Makes sense. And also, it, you know, it's also, it really is the way to grant the most amount of successes, which in the left, the French were able to do that pretty overwhelmingly too. Like, there was a major fear about, you know, the far right being pretty victorious and shit, at least in the first round of voting. It looked like that, but no, like after the second round, it pretty much went the total opposite direction because, you know, there was a popular front, you know, where the left unified.
The far left and the center left, they did the right thing at the last moment and endorsed whoever was ahead to beat the far right, and it worked.
To hold a conference and have progressives come together, and not just the candidates, but other progressives as well. And let's brainstorm strategy. Let's brainstorm genocide. There are 1 million people, according to the World Food Program, up to 1 million people who are going to die in the next month from this genocide. Do we just want to have a symbolic campaign, or do we really want to ratchet up the pressure on empire? Because you don't have to win the race in order to win the issue simply by being a strong, unified campaign, being on the ballot. None of us can afford to either get on the ballot or to defend ourselves against the limitless deep pockets of the Democrats to come after us legally and throw us off the ballot. So our only hope for 1 million people who are under attack right now, who've been tortured for 9 months, have been absolutely living hell. The only hope for them is for us to assert maximum pressure in this election. And I think every candidate who says that they want to stop genocide needs to think strategically about how we actually do that. If we have a voice which is on the ballot across the country, then we cannot be locked out by the media. But if we're not on the ballot across the country, they will lock us out. We will not have a word in edgewise in this election. It will proceed as though everything is fine
I mean, nothing she's saying is wrong at all.
in Israel and in Gaza. It will not get the time of day. So I think it's really important for people to put aside their personal ambitions and to really take a good hard look. I think this is hard for any candidate to do, which is why this shouldn't just be among candidates. In my view, this should be about the progressive community coming together.
All right, so there you go. She's saying, I know I wouldn't tell him to get out, but I would say let's think strategically. Let's have a conference. Let's figure out how to move forward in a unified way. That's how I would sum up what she just said there. Okay, so you make of what she said there, whatever you want to make of what she said there. That's my interpretation.
I mean, my guess is that maybe she would, like, you know, say, let's kind of run together, you know, maybe be my VP or something, or I'd be your VP or some shit like that. I mean, if anything, she's kind of trying to, you know, give off like an olive branch in a sense, being like, hey, I'm not going to tell you to drop out or anything, but, you know, let's try to, like, you know, like extend an olive branch here and, like, let's, you know, work on a more unified strategy and try to organize, you know, the left together as much as possible, you know, and galvanize as much, you know, of like a popular front, you know, that can be done. Like, I mean, that seems like pretty reasonable. In fact, I think is a, you know, it's what I advocate for, you know, maybe more based around labor, you know, specifically, but nonetheless, it's one of those things where I advocate for it. So there's nothing really for me to disagree with. As far as I'm concerned, you would have, all I have to say is say no more. I'm already in.
I find that very straightforward, very simple. I understand it completely. Makes sense to me. So now Cornel West goes on and says this.
I interviewed Dr. Stein, who's obviously running the Green Party nomination. She didn't outright say you should drop out, but she did insinuate that, you know,
but she could put personal ambition aside and drop out. Who does she think she is? She doesn't think she has personal ambition. She said explicitly her addiction to running for election. The Green Party itself, given its wonderful history that I support in many ways, but it's never been fundamentally committed in fighting the legacy of white supremacy and its connection to Catholic. It's done some wonderful things. It got wonderful people in it. In my experience with her arrogance, her condescension, her haughtiness, reeking of racist sensibility that I could go into, that I've refused to go into up till now, I got all kind of details on that.
He's basically saying the Green Party doesn't care about race issues and Jill Stein is kind of a racist. That's his reaction to what Jill Stein just said.
Huh? I mean, condescending and shit? Like, what? Like, I mean, it seems very overtly defensive about this, you know, just because she wanted to extend an olive branch from what it seems like. And condescending and, like, what?
And then he says, look, I'm not going to get into it, but I can. Oh, if you're going to hurl an accusation like that, I mean, that accusation...
Yeah, like, seriously. Yeah, I mean, that's another weird thing. It's like, if you're going to throw some shit out there like that, you know, out of nowhere, then fucking back it up, dude. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, if you're going to say something like that, you can't just, like, well, I won't get into it, but, you know. It's like, what?
Would be the conclusion of evidence you say you have about Jill Stein and the Green Party. You can't not lay out the evidence and then assert the conclusion that she has racist sensibilities.
We got a little time if you want to share.
No, I just want the people to know. I want the people to know she needs to quit lying on me, too. If you're going to have fascist lies and you're going to have the Democratic Party lies, I don't need the Green Party lies either.
What's the lie?
Yeah, what the fuck is the lies then? Like, all she said was, like, you know, I'm not going to say for you to drop out, but, you know, let's, like, try to work together on having, like, a unified front kind of thing. Like, wait, where the fuck is the lie?
Lie. What's the lie? I'm genuinely curious. What she said is, let's have, like, a conference. I wouldn't tell him to drop out. I would say, let's have a conference. Let's figure out a way to move forward in a unified way. What's the lie?
Was there something during
It's a lie that, like, you know, it's a lie that she doesn't want him to drop out, and she actually does. Which, you know what, maybe, but she doesn't want to maybe overtly say that, because she wants to, like, you know, be, you know, more, like, good faith and more, like, you know, humble about the approach about it. She doesn't want to be like, nah, you should drop out, fuck you. Like, I mean, because that it's just going to create more antagonization. Like, she did it in a pretty, respectful way, in a sense of like, hey, let's like talk about, moving with a unified front. If not, that's okay. Well, but I just think, strategically, having a more unified front is, a better approach. But that doesn't mean drop out. I mean, for all I know, like, and for all, for all anyone knows, she could have maybe been offering a VP position for Cornell. Be like, hey, I'll let you be my VP, because I think, like, with our combined efforts, we could really, like, push a unified front with this. Like, honestly, that would be my guess, but I don't fucking know. It'd be anyone's guess, frankly. But either way, like, it doesn't seem like she was overtly saying drop out.
With the Green Party and her that made you think that they're not serious about
well,
racial
it
equality?
Was more a personal thing of a certain disrespect in the use of the Green Party's apparatus as a way of my campaign being a vehicle for the mobilization of their petitions and the fights over trying to get access to the signatures once we got it, and the spending of the money and so forth and so on. No, I don't want to go into all the details. I've held off all this time. She continues to lie about me.
What's the lie?
The lie.
And also, what you were describing as a problem is standard political stuff that has to be done to get on ballots.
And also, like, a lot of the criticisms when it comes to, like, white supremacy and shit, like, that's a systemic plight of our entire fucking system. Yeah, maybe there's going to be some elements of, like, Green Party chapters or, people within it that, don't probably give a fuck about, like, racial issues and shit. Or, like, systemic racism. Like, yeah, you're probably going to get that. Doesn't mean that they, like, could care less and are totally fine with it. No, probably doesn't mean that. They just have different priorities, like when it comes to the environment or some other shit. So, I mean, I just, like, where the fuck is this coming from? Like, I mean, this is really putting a major bad taste in my mouth for Cornell, dude. Like, what the fuck? I mean, honestly, I guess, between Chase Oliver or, fucking Jill Stein, I think it's certainly down to those two now at this point for me. Like, I mean, because this, I'm in a locked blue state. Like, my one tiny little vote going to, like, the Green Party or Libertarian Party or some shit ain't gonna mean dick. Especially in my district. Where my district's likely gonna be red anyway. So, it's just like, it's one of those things where, especially for, like, my ass in this, like, situation, like, I got a little more skin in the game with this, more so than with Mamala. So it's just like, to me, this shit's, like, fucking ridiculous. Like, it's like, because honestly, especially from my, perspective of things, it just seems like, Cornell's the one who's antagonizing and trying to, like, put division in. And why? Like, it just seems, for no fucking reason, it seems like, outside of just, like, he got a little, like, it struck a nerve when it says, like, put personal ambitions aside. Like, when Jill Stein said that, I bet that's what struck a nerve of him. And it's like, what? Is she lying that you have personal ambitions or something? Because, I mean, on the proxy of running for president, that's likely going to be true no matter what, okay? So, who cares? Like, so what if you have some personal ambitions about that or not? I mean, Jill does too. It's anyone running for president does, okay? Like, to me, that doesn't mean shit. Like, so, I mean, like, so, like, it's not a lie. If anything, you're lying about the idea that, like, she's lying about you. Because, honestly, where's the basis of it? We won't even get into it. That's the problem. It's like, why in the fuck are you not getting into it, dude? You're gonna just make some random basis claim and just not elaborate?
You're accusing the Green Party and or Jill Stein of misspending funds. Say it. If you're saying she has racist sensibilities, well, give me a reason to believe that that's true. Say, hey, this is what happened on Wednesday, March 22nd, and she said this, and we did this, and they said we're not going to put that in our platform. Say it. Like, what is he doing?
Don't like that. I don't like lies. I don't care if it comes from a Jill Stein of the Green Party. I don't care if it comes from a Trump of the Republican Party. I don't care if it comes from a Kamala Harris of the Democratic Party. Lies are lies, and they're tied to ways in which we can get at the truth and justice. And I'm the one that needs to drop out and tell Sister Melina Abdullah, my vice presidential running mate, that she ought not be, and I be a VP for Jill Stein. Please, that is so pathetic and ridiculous.
I don't look, man. You guys take away your own.
That's pathetic. What? No, it's not. I mean, yeah, you probably already have a running mate, but make her like Secretary of State or something. Like, it's not like, you just fuck her over or something. I mean, like, huh? Like, I feel like Cornell's starting to kind of go off on La La Land, dude. Like, what the hell? So, what is he talking about? Like, what do you mean, pathetic? No, it's not. That's a strategic idea. I mean, and honestly, that isn't inherently mean you're dropping out. You're just like combining, the efforts from, running for president, and as an independent to being VP, for the Greens. That's not exactly necessarily dropping out. I guess you're dropping out as an independent, but then you're going right back in, on the ticket, for the Greens as a VP. Like, I don't see how that's a bad thing. There are obviously, some real bad blood between, Cornell and the Green Party because he keeps flipping around like a fucking fish when it comes to this shit. He started off as a Green, then became part of the People's Party, and then he's flipping to the independent. Like, he's just kind of flopping around like a fish with this shit. I don't think he really understands or knows what he's doing with this type of shit, to be honest. Like, he's a good speaker when it comes to just like, broader, like social justice and shit, but like, goddamn, dude. As a politician, it is bad.
But this sounds personal to me. This doesn't sound like it's political. This doesn't sound like it's about the issues. This doesn't sound like it's about trying to unify and find the best way forward. This sounds personal.
Ludicrous.
And how would you answer? Because you're not someone who's accused of, being an egomaniac or, some type of
listening to her,
right.
You would think that.
All right. Look.
Well, I mean, considering how much this has struck a nerve with you, I don't know.
When you are either the Libertarian Party or the Green Party or like a smaller third party movement in a system that's dominated by the two major parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, you can't afford to have everything devolve into name calling and petty personal drama. You can't afford to do it. In fact, what you have to do is actually what Jill Stein said at the beginning there, which is we got to figure out a way forward and we got to be unified. However,
and put petty bullshit aside. This weird, like, leftist infighting drama bullshit is ridiculous and it needs to fucking stop. Whether it's shit like this, or whether it's like, like dipshits, like, Xander Hall, like, saying, like, people like Dima Mom or fucking Vosh are, like, Trump supporters or right-wingers because, they, were shitting on Biden or whatever. And all this other bullshit. Like, that needs to fucking stop. And whether that means that you just, like, put these motherfuckers aside and say, just step aside, or, they just basically have to, like, shut up and kind of fall in line a little bit. I mean, either way, it's like, this type of antagonization needs to fucking quit it if, like, the left is really just going to have, like, any resemblance of a of being able to at least, do something, for the country in one way, shape, or form. That's at least, viable, that can, at least show some momentum of success. Because, like, this is ridiculous.
Comes about, right? If there's a conference and Jill Stein is picked over Cornell to represent the left third party movement, or Cornell is picked over Jill Stein to represent the left third party movement, there needs to be a coming together, a sharpness to the message, hammering home the talking points, screaming from the rooftops, coalescing, and being in control. And
Jill Stein seems like she's a lot more in control about this in comparison to Cornell at this point.
I don't know does Cornel West not understand that if you have a Jill Stein and a Cornel West on the ballot, that splits the left vote? It delegitimizes and splinters the left further, and especially once you get to the point where not only are you split politically, but also clearly there's personal animus and disagreement. That's not good at a time when we're trying to unify to fight back against genocide. It feels very personal. And again, if you're going to make this accusation...
And frankly, it is personal. I could just tell it is. I guess there's not really much else besides this little analysis of it, but I could just tell that whatever this shit is, it's personal to him. And that is just bullshit, frankly. Like, I mean, because what the fuck do you think, that's going to be doing outside of just jeopardizing any momentum that, the left could be using right now to at least challenge, especially the DNC, but also just a broader duopoly apparatus of our country. I mean, especially when it comes to like, more corporate extraction of wages and labor, like when it comes to this genocide, the lack of addressal to climate change. I mean, it's like, it could go on, but it's like shit. It's like, it's one of those things where it should be pretty obvious, like, where the direction should be going, but like too many people, especially of influence, want to make it like some personal fucking drama bullshit. It's like, it's like, I mean, when it comes to this type of shit, it goes, beyond that. And honestly, at the end of the day, I always, tend to try to set that shit aside. I don't have like, tense back and forths with, friends even, but as far as I'm concerned, the personal shit, is set aside when it comes to the type of talks. Because at least, for me, I never take anything that personally. Unless it's just outright dismissal or like putting words in my mouth and shit like that, then it's just, then that's, kind of ends up being some bullshit. Getting that little boloed up. Ooh. I'm not surprised he's in the laundry room again. I need to just put a bed in there or something. Because he evidently really loves hanging out in that laundry room. I kind of want to see what the weather looks like today right now. Because I might be tempted to go down the river today. Oh, it says 69. It's 69. Well, it ain't that hot. It's actually nice. I like that. Ooh, it's going to be hotter tomorrow. 84, 81, 80, 83, 79, 84. Okay, so it's at least alright. That's nice. It's like kind of finally broke the heat for the most part. That's why I'm wearing the jacket right now, because it's actually kind of nice and tempered to wear, just chilling. To wander around and going on a walk, with Zukov, that probably won't. But so it actually is a really nice day out today. Let's see what little things are going on for today. Trump brain malfunction. A compilation? Oh boy. Oh, a compilation? Since we don't have, Biden gaffes anymore, now we're back to the Trump gaffes.
So with Joe Biden dropping out of the presidential race, look, all the focus on like age and mental deterioration, that's now shifted, right? I mean, I think you can make an argument it's gone away for people who aren't very familiar with how Trump's been suffering a little bit with similar stuff. But I mean, it might become an issue in the campaign now and be focused solely on Trump. Because here's the thing.
Oh boy.
Trump has been able to override the fact that he often has cognitive failure moments with his charisma, right? Like he has the ability, he talks loudly, he talks aggressively, he has no filter. And so that gives like the impression of coherence, even if sometimes he's not, right? But I'm going to give you...
He definitely isn't at all, for sure. But it's honestly, my favorite moment, from this year at least, that Trump did was... That's my favorite one.
Examples here of how he has actually been struggling cognitively. And then I'll ask you whether or not the age thing and the cognitive issues are now in a problem, but solely for Trump, and now no longer on the Democratic side, since the Democratic candidate is now much younger and her brain works. So here we go. Let's start with this one right here. You're just going to see, this is him fucking up like 1,000 different names. Here we go.
I think you should take a cognitive test like I did. I took a cognitive test, And I aced it. Doc Ronnie.
I aced it.
Doc Ronnie Johnson. Does everyone know Ronnie Johnson, congressman from Texas? He was the house doctor. How good did Elise Stepanaki? You know, we've endorsed Dr. Oz. We've endorsed JP, right? JD Mandel. And
JP Mandel.
Jimmy Connors is good. He's also happy. Mike Bolton. John Bolton is here. Mike Bolton.
Mike Bolton.
There was progress today. I look forward to solving.
Mike Bolton. Oh my God.
It was Trump's fault. It was Trump's fault. Can it ever be like Rick Gates' fault? I mean, it's always Trump's fault, Rick. By the way, they never report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley. You know, do you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything? Deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things, like Nikki Haley.
Dude, Nikki Haley's on the brain.
10,000 people. We have some of our great business leaders, and leaders, period, right behind me. I may ask Marilyn Lockheed.
Marilyn Lockheed.
Appreciate it.
He does that all the time. He'll say their first name and then just say the name of the company as if that's their last name. This is incredible. He does.
Mary Lockheed, let me tell you, she's a very tremendous person, that Lockheed. What the fuck?
Remember Tim Apple?
Much Tim Apple. Yes, please.
Tim Apple.
Thank you very much for your time. You know, it's interesting.
He said Mr. Kurd because the guy was Kurdish? What the fuck?
Appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. Yes, please, Mr. Kurd. Thank you very much for your
Mr. Kurd.
Mr. Kurd, oh my God. Oh. Okay, that's just like some weird, almost like, that is like some borderline innocent racism where it's like, oh, I think Mr. Kurd. Like, cause it almost just sounds like a name. But no, it's just because the dude's Kurdish. Oh my God, it's kind of fucked up, but honestly funny at the same time. Holy fuck. Okay, you know, at least when it comes to fucking like Trump gaffes, I can actually like let out a good laugh out of it. Like, and at least laugh at it. Like when it came to Biden, I was more like, oh my God, I want to die. Like it's more like I just want my brain to mush in the just like puddled soup. Because, like, oh my God. Like, Biden's, like, absurdity just felt more like brain rot.
He's a Kurdish reporter. His name is not Mr. Kurd. His name is not Raheem Kurd. Oh my God. I never saw this clip.
You know what's interesting? Joe Biden won against Barack Hussein Obama. Has anyone ever heard of him? Arrest their leading political...
What?
They're leading by a lot, including Obama. I'll tell you what, you take a look at Obama and take a look at some of the things that he's done. And Putin, you know, has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word. You heard that? Nuclear.
He did this for, remember, he would always mess up Biden for Obama?
I mean, to be fair, I guess I wouldn't necessarily completely blame him, but holy shit, he's done this so many times.
Giving your first comments on the bill on this show means a lot to us. We appreciate it, sir. Thanks a lot.
You have it, Joe. Thanks a lot.
Joe, right?
He called Dan Bongino Joe. I love that. Especially because Dan Bongino, like, I'm happy he mispronounced Dan Bongino's name to his face or said the wrong name because it's like, this guy thinks he's like a big player in the MAGA movement, and Trump's like, who the fuck are you? Like, flea on my ass.
Yeah, you're just like, fucking Kyle. I love you, Kyle, goddamn. It's like, you're just a flea on my ass. I don't know who you are, Joe Bondafacino. Yeah, who gives a fuck? Yeah, thank you.
This guy is just the worst, Christian ever run for president against you. And you heard the prime minister, you heard... Bet Yahoo.
Bet Yahoo. Bet Yahoo.
He said Bet Yahoo. Yes. Yes.
Matt Blum speak next because he's been so incredible in so many ways. He fights so hard. He loves his state. He loves the people.
She's looking at him like, you aren't saying his name right.
You think of it. A new branch of the United States military, United States Armed Forces, called Air Force. I never talked about.
What is this, 1946, after the Army Air Corps and the Navy Air Force combined it into one thing and became just Air Force? Like, what the fuck what... Huh? Oh my God.
The Air Force, brand new. We got this thing called the Air Force. I started it.
That's something we never talked about, but what we just saw, we just left pleasure. A very big hello to a place where we've done very well, Sioux Falls. Thank you very much, Sioux Falls. Thank you.
It's Sioux City.
So, Sioux City, let me ask you, and the worst president in history of our country who is cognitively impaired, we would be in World War II.
We would still, to this day, be in World War II. If we keep Joe Biden in there, somehow World War II will just come right back, folks. Coming right back.
Quickly, the worst president in the history of our country will be a fading nightmare. He'll be a fading, I have fading memory.
Remember when
I have fading memory. That sounds like that was a little bit of an unintentional, honest slip up.
he was talking about, what was it, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and he's like,
They, tried to take over the airports.
the ramparts, they took over the airports, they did everything they had to do. Look, he's got a lot of these moments too. All right, I'm not done. We got a whole nother one here.
The Nazis, the invasion of Normandy, and the liberation of Europe. A brilliant story.
A liberation of Europe? Well, I mean, I guess Europe did get liberalized a little bit, so... Mission failed successfully?
Traveled far. Really big beneficiaries. Whole state to be a sanctuary for...
Sanctuary?
Sanctuary, bro.
Shield, shelter, criminal. Look, wait. Remember?
Look, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, he really loves to do that.
That was a real, brain shitting the bed and rebooting moment. Let me see that one again. I like that one. Hold on. I remember that moment. I remember when that happened, and it didn't take off as much as I thought it would. But he's trying to say something, and then his brain just resets, and he's like, look. Here we go. To be fair, look, I have these moments too. I definitely have these moments too. But
at least when it comes to someone young, or because I do it too sometimes. I mean, at least when it comes to younger people, shit, bro. At least in that, situation, there's still a thought process being made, and we can at least, kind of retrace the steps.
And whether it's Biden or in this case Trump, it's like, you have a lot of them, bro. You have a lot of them. Here, watch the one where his brain reboots again.
Shield and shelter, criminal. Look, wait. The members.
Did he slow it down too?
It was I'm not gonna nail this. Let me just reset. And look.
Of our armed forces, and you understand that very well. And the internet, if you think about this, which traditions of this convention, expectations in the House for the midterm and midterm year.
Midtown in the midterm year, yes. Dude, I love the music too. What is this weird upbeat 80s game show fucking music, dude?
All applicable state taxes, despite these obstacles, Karen. The Central Command.
These obstacles, Karen. Remember when he couldn't say origins, and he would say oranges?
Oranges.
The oranges. The oranges. I mean, the beginning.
The oranges of the left, ladies and gentlemen, is a very disappointing, sad story, folks.
First response and crisis response. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt as Hurricane Irma.
Delano. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Dude.
And he voted for Obama.
Obama. I love that one, dude. That's one of my favorites. Obama.
Obama.
Sleazebag lawyer named Aviante.
Aviante.
I like that one too. Because Michael Avenatti never deserved anybody's respect. He should have never been put on TV. And Aviante. Look, I think a small percentage of these he's doing it on purpose, right? Like the Aviante one seems like a way of just being disrespectful. I don't even know your name, bitch, right? But 98% of them are he can't do it.
The United
I tend to honestly kind of agree, because Trump does kind of have this, I don't really know your name, I could give a fuck kind of mentality, so
is all about will not be tolerated any longer. Merry Christmas.
Tolerated?
Everybody, we just have to say it. You know, we just said another sock rocket. You saw that, right?
Slock rocket?
Slog rocket.
Slog rocket?
Oh, I love that.
Just said another.
That sounds like a sex move. Like, oh yeah, me and my gal the other day, we were doing the slot rocket. Like, what the
You saw that, right? The stock market, and to replace chasms of distrust ever.
Chasms? What?
Chasms, the word is chasm.
Foisted upon the American people. And then they announced there was no buys, no. Seek real.
Oh my god, that was like if Biden just channeled his energy into Trump there for a second. What was that?
Smartest solutions. Made a pivotal, really, and I mean this was pivotal. We authorized 9/11 victims in April of 20,000.
9/11 what?
14. Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. These historic accomplishments shades.
They didn't do the take over the airport part. That's the best part.
And
oh yeah, like this is like they took over the airports, with the they took the ramparts.
The ramparts. These historic accomplishments shades our embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. It's great to be back in Missouri, Ghana.
Missouri.
Jews thank the Minneapolis police. Venezuelans by Venezuelans. So
Venezuelos.
Say Venezuela. I don't understand. That's not a hard one.
Yeah. Jews thank the Minneapolis police. Venezuelans by Venezuelans. So Venezuelans working to
Venezuelas.
improve this country, and you do.
Like he just really can't say it, dude. Like it's like I don't think I've ever heard him actually say Venezuela right. Like honestly.
And God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
Yeah, remember this one? This is when like his teeth fell out of his mouth. Does he have dentures or something? Because like the United States.
Dude, I remember that because like that was like people theorize like, there was like like mainstream media straight up for sure like for at least like a week or two were like, does he have dentures? Does he have dentures? Like I mean, and honestly, I'm willing to bet he probably does.
To improve this country, and you do the government, and God bless the United States. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So look, I'll ask you. So first of all,
United States. Yeah, I mean, he almost kind of like has to like do that in order to almost like catch something, and then like there's also like that little like kind of weird little like what sounds like something in his mouth adjusting, like he's got like a hard candy.
His mess ups because he's like just not that smart, right? Like that's possible. That's possible. He's just not that bright, and so he fucks up these things like all the fucking time. It could be that.
I mean, I think it's that, but also he's old and slowly losing it too. And now that he's pretty much the only one left, that's like slowly losing his brain, like then, that's going to get highlighted a lot. Especially from this year too, like, because there's a lot. That's still my favorite. That's still my favorite one, ultimately. I just can't get over that one. Oh man, dude. Does anyone in the comment section say anything? Is it? No one has mentioned it at all. Distinctuary is a is a perfect dispensary name. Actually, I could kind of agree with that. Got some of that good stink, bro. Come to Stinctuary. No one mentioned the Rippy Doo. No one mentioned Rippy Doo. No one did. That makes me sad. Oh, that makes me sad. No one mentioned the Rippy Doo. And it was even on Kyle's video too. Like, oh my god. I'm actually kind of surprised someone even mentioned it. That kind of makes me sad. Man, like, my most favorite one of them all when it comes to Trump caps, and like, barely anyone knows of it. Very sad. Very sad, folks. You hate to see it. But, at least gonna get myself some lunch and all that stuff. And give little Zuzu a little walk. See if he wants to go out and about a little bit today. But, anyway, let's peace out for now, and I shall see you on the next one. So,